Jazz Haven, broadcasting live from studios in downtown New Haven, Connecticut at WNHH 103.5 FM and on the web at newhavenindependent.org and at WETF, the jazz station 105.7 FM, streaming at jazzradiowetf.org. You're with Stan, the man, and this is a fitting way to begin Black History Month with someone who has been a serious part of New Haven and Connecticut's Black history and jazz history. He was a child prodigy. He's a master drummer, an educator, a composer and arranger, a band leader, a mentor, and a humanitarian. And he grew up right here in New Haven. I'm honored to welcome to Jazz Haven Radio, Jesse Cheese Hamid. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Stan, thank you for having me here.
Well, welcome aboard. And before we go any further, I'd like to find out from you who gave you the nickname Cheese.
There's two levels of that.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of time. We're just beginning, so go with it.
Two levels of that. Here, there was a friend of ours. His name was Freddie Harris. And Freddie Harris is the first one that called me Cheese. And then throughout my travels, everybody calls me Cheese. Another level because they say my spirit is Smile.
Yeah, well, I can understand it. You know, you're always ready for a photograph. Say, you don't have to say Cheese. You ready. All right, sounds good. So now I mentioned in this little intro here that you were a child prodigy. Now that's something that I was surprised when I read it on the internet.
No, I don't consider myself a child prodigy.
Oh, of course you wouldn't.
I wasn't a child prodigy, but I had a little bit of talent, and
at an early age.
At an early age.
All right. Well, let's talk about that. Tell us about that.
There was a lot of challenges. As far back as I can remember, I always heard rhythms. And my mother and father said that as soon as I was able to grab a spoon or anything in my independent grip, when I had control, I started beating out rhythms. You know, so my parents used to get me drums for Christmas and all that.
Oh, okay. And, that's something that most parents will say, wait a minute, no, too much noise. So that's great.
Yeah. My parents, they were extremely supportive of me. And then in the neighborhood, we used to play parade because that was one of the big things. I grew up in the Dixville neighborhood. As you know, back in the 1940s, I was born in 1941. So back in the 40s and the early 50s, there was some tight neighborhoods. We had Dixville, we had Grand Avenue, Congress Avenue, Oak Street, over by Orchard, up that way, you know. So, and a little bit on Shelton Avenue.
But most of the music was in the Dixwell neighborhood, the live music, the clubs and that kind of thing.
Yeah, most of the clubs was in the Dixwell area.
Mm-hmm.
And so we used to have the parades. So in the Dixwell area, anything they had to do with making some music, there was me and some other people, they would come and give it to us. Billy Fitch, Billy Fitch was a child prodigy.
Conga player. I know Billy Fitch. Yeah.
Congas, bongos, maracas, piano. So Bill was really a child prodigy.
Yeah, and was self-taught.
Yeah. Well, no, no. He wasn't self-taught.
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Were you self-taught? Well, one thing I
on
know.
one level, let me go back to Bill Fitch now.
All right, well, one thing I know though, today, if somebody wants to learn about jazz, they can go to college. There are jazz curriculums in some high schools. Now, where did you learn to play jazz?
Okay, so now let's back up a little bit about the self-taught. So back in around 1948, 49, Paul Huggins, he passed away, I don't know, about 5 years ago, maybe. Time flies. So Paul, I don't know who taught Paul, but Paul knew all of these traditional Afro-Cuban rhythms. And so he had myself, Bill Fitch, and some others, and he taught us all of these rhythms. So Paul taught us these rhythms.
Okay, and how old was he at the time?
Paul was probably about 13. He's about 5 years older than us.
So he was a prodigy too.
Oh, yeah.
He was a community of child prodigies.
So what we did, we just practiced from 1940, 49, 48, 49, either 49 and 50, something like that. Yeah. So we used to practice, and back then, people didn't have refrigerators not like we have now. We had ice boxes. So the Iceman used to come, Iceman, with the horse and the buggy.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd be on Ashland Street, and we would, there was projects, also there was private houses. Like the house I lived in was a house right next to the project. It was six apartments, but we was on the third floor. And there were other places like that had third floor apartments. And so the Iceman know where he could service all those people. So all the boys, that was one of our areas that we made some money, so you had to be an entrepreneur back then to make it for yourself. So we used to help carry the ice up to the Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go to people's houses, and people had kerosene stoves, so we would carry kerosene for people. And when people moved out of the apartment, we'd get the clothes hangers and sell them, the rags and sell them, the old newspapers to take them and sell them on Dixon Avenue. What we didn't sell to the rag man. So we saved money, and we bought our own uniforms as we were learning the rhythms. Every day Paul would teach us. We would work out of Billy Fitch's house. His mother was Nellie
What
Fitch.
was the name of the band?
The name of the band was called the Cuban Knights.
The Cuban Knights.
Yeah.
Okay.
So after we saved enough money and we bought our instruments, we also bought some uniforms. We had some nice uniforms. We had those like Cuban tuxedo shirts with the ruffles on the sleeve.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we bow ties, cummerbund, tuxedo pants with the stripe on the side, and patent leather shoes. So we were sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought it ourselves, young boys.
For sure.
So 1951, I was.
So how many people were in this? How many kids?
Oh, there's about maybe about 7, 8 of us, and then Freddie Harris, I think it was, and what's her name? I think her name was Marlene. They used to dance. And they were great dancers. They would dance the mambo and the cha-cha and all that.
Oh.
And then another thing that tied into that, this is a very formative part of my musical career was going on. So we had a teacher named Miss McDonald, and then we also had Miss Grant, Helene Grant.
What school was this? Winchester?
Winchester School. At that time, Isidore Wexler was the principal.
Mm-hmm.
So Helene Grant, she was the teacher, and Miss McDonald was the teacher.
Okay.
So we would we learned all how to dance the mambo, the cha-cha, the merengue, the tango, the foxtrot, the waltz, even how to do the square dancing. Do your partner. I mean, they both of them, they were great. So I was in Miss McDonald's class, and so Miss McDonald one time she heard us beating some rhythms. We beating the ham bone. So you're familiar with the ham bone, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right.
And which is based on the one of the claves. Clave means not just the two sticks that you hit, but clave really means the root of the rhythm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that clave, that's all in the ham bone. That's all in the gospel music.
Okay.
It just transcends it. It travels. makes its way to all of our different music. So anyway, so Miss McDonald taught us all the dances, and that was the whole class, right? And so Miss McDonald saw us what we was doing, so she encouraged us, me and Billy Fitch, Alma Huckabee, some other people. We did our first performance was the handbone performance, and the children loved it in the school. The teachers loved it, and back then we wore.
You don't need the instruments for that.
Right. Yeah. Oh, excuse me for hiccup there. The body's the instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So, meantime, Paul is honing our skills, teaching us these rhythms. So Paul taught us. I have to give credit where it's due. Paul taught us on that level. God gave us the talent, but we were playing the rhythms correct. And right now, I'm one of the best maraca players because Paul taught me.
Okay.
I play maracas. People look at me now. They mock, "Oh man, you play the maracas." Oh, I'm playing the same way I did when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. Because this way Paul taught me.
And what role does a tambourine play in all of this?
Okay, now the tambourine. Just let me stay here where we are now first. So then we started performing as the Cuban Knights. So we started working different community centers, the Jewish community centers, different African American centers. We even worked. There was one of the places that they used to bring bands in back in the early '50s. Eagles Hall. It's not there now. A lot of big name groups came in there. We performed there twice. Opened up for a couple of groups in Eagles Hall. So we did a lot at the district community house. The district community house, the old district community house used to be on. I forgot the address.
Further down Dixwell.
Yeah.
I know where you're talking about.
Near the house.
Closer toward Broadway.
Yeah, well, not that far, but by the House of Prayer.
Right.
Yeah, over there. So that was the original Q House. As a matter of fact, I still have my original card, 1945.
Your membership.
December.
The Q House membership.
Yeah, December 1945.
Okay.
So
right.
I was 4 years old, getting ready to turn 5. Yeah, I was born in '41. Yeah. So anyway, so that's where I learned the Afro-Cuban from Paul Huggins, and that's an integral part of my plan. Now, in the church I used to attend, that's Pitts Chapel, the church I went to was Free Will Baptist Church, and it used to be, I think, on Webster Street, but far back as I remember was when we was on Ashman Street when I was born. And that church, there was a groove in that church, man. And the tambourines, so I would hear the polyrhythmic sounds of the tambourine, and I say, "Oh man, it just touched my heart so much so I would hear the whole macro rhythm of it going on. People clapping their hands and doing the tambourines, and that's in my plan. All that's in my plan now. What the claves, the tambourine, the hymns for the church, all of that, and then also some of what's in West Africa that's in my genetic memory. So all of that's in me. So and as far as self-taught, as you was talking about, there weren't institutions. So that's true. And even in the 60s, there's only a few places that you can learn. The 50s and 60s, even the HBCUs, they weren't teaching jazz.
Right.
One of my friends, he got almost expelled because they caught him practicing jazz in the music room at Howard University.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So we learned from each other. We learned from the masters. New Haven was a university. All of the different jazz musicians came in town, and we were on what was called the Chitlin circuit. So a lot of groups came in. There was the Monterey hosted a lot of groups, and Mr. Greenlee, Rufus Greenlee, he being the big entertainer that he was, and all the people he knew, even people like Nat King Cole and others, Ella Fitzgerald,
Billie Holiday.
They would come through this way and stop at the Monterey.
Bird.
Yeah, so many people,
Yeah.
And then also we had another nice spot too that was really classy. That was the playback. That was Willie Ruff's.
Willie Ruff from Winchester.
Yeah, Winchester Avenue over there.
Yeah.
We had the Golden Gate. We had the Recorder Club, the Democratic Club, the Musicians Club. All these different.
Golden Gate.
Yeah. So many places.
Yeah. So New Haven was, in fact, a mecca. And strategically located between Boston and New York.
Yeah.
So that's a good place to be.
Right, and we had a lot of New York musicians come because it's so easy. They can jump right on the train. You get right here.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get to Hartford that easy. They didn't get to Bridgeport that easy. But Bridgeport has something happening, but not like New Haven.
Yeah.
Hartford had a lot happening, but not like New Haven.
Okay. One thing I wanted to make sure we covered before we went any further, you have a concert on Friday evening.
Yes.
You want to talk about that a little bit, or maybe at least mention it?
Yes. That's at the Sprague Hall at Yale, right at the corner of Wall and College. It's a series. It's called the Ellington series. It was started, I think, about 30, 40 years ago, something like that by...
Back in the 70s, I guess, 72, I think it was.
It might be, I'm talking about 40, something, about 50 years then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Willie Ruff started that. I forgot what year it started. So he brings in different artists, and now...
well, since you mentioned he brings in different artists now, this has been going on for about 50 years. I believe you were the first New Haven musician to play in this series.
I don't know.
Can you think of any other? Did Dickie Myers play there?
I don't think so.
Wow. Anybody else you can think of? I think not. Well, that's my guess.
Oh wow! Since you mentioned that, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Well, one thing, Willie Ruff was about bringing musicians here from out of town to help, work in the school system with the kids, and so I think you're the first New Haven musician to play in this Ellington Jazz series.
Oh, beautiful! Wow, I didn't know that.
All right, now your group Elevation. Who's in that group?
Okay. I started Elevation back in 1976.
Oh.
So, and I used different people at different times. Just like our Blakey, Horace Silver, them, Miles, and training and use different people. And on this performance, I have Rodney Jones on guitar. We have a long relationship. We've been working together, doing different things since about 1979, something. Somewhere around there. No, I think it was before 79. Yes, before 79.
That's about 50-year relationship too.
Yeah, before 79. And then he's great. Rodney has performed with just about everybody. One time, I direct the summer jazz camp. We call it summer jazz program because we had to stop calling it a camp. Have a camp. Legally in the state, you have to have a kitchen and other facilities there. So we call everything program now. Mm-hmm. So I had Rodney, the first time I had Rodney as a guest, he brought in some prizes. So the prizes were, if you could name someone that I have not performed with, then you get the prize.
I saw that list. We don't have enough time on this show to go over all the people that you worked with, either recording with, traveling with, just playing with in a club or in a jam session. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
And our saxophone have Talib Kibwe. We work together. Also, Talib is also on my CD Sign of the Times, and so is Rodney Jones.
Okay, he's known as TK Blue?
TK Blue.
Okay.
Yeah, Talib Kibwe known as TK Blue. And he's done a lot of work with a lot of people. He was here before with Randy Weston at Sprague Hall. And I have Nat Reeves. Nat Reeves, he just retired. He's on bass. And Tyler Kidway, TK Blue is playing alto, soprano, and flute. Rodney Jones is on guitar. Nat Reeves is on bass.
He retired from where? From?
Pardon me?
What you said? Nat Reeves just retired. He's not performing.
No, he's performing. He's retired from teaching.
Oh, okay. He was at the Jackie Mack Institute at the Hart School of Music.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he owes his retirement, he says, to Jackie Mack, because Jackie McLean, for those who don't know who Jackie Mack is, the great Jackie McLean, who started that program. So Jackie had Nat as a he wasn't full time. He was adjunct. So Jackie said, "Nah, I want him full time, so he get the full benefits, everything." He said, "If you can't do that, take my name off the program."
Okay, that's serious.
Yeah. So now Nat is retired from that, and he's just performing, and he still helps some people on the side. You know, all of us, we still help the younger people out, doing things that he can in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And someone donated $500,000 in Nat's name, and for Nat to be on a committee to oversee it, they're going to give a student $50,000 a year for 10 years.
Oh, that's excellent.
Isn't that beautiful? That's because of the TLC dedication that Nat Reeves put in with his students. Right?
Understandable.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we have another, a younger person on piano. That's Zakai Curtis.
Zakai Curtis, right. Yeah. He's one of the Curtis brothers.
One of the Curtis brothers. When I first heard them, they were teenagers. I don't know, maybe 13, 14, 15, something like that. There's three of them, but on the band it was him and Laquez. Laquez plays bass.
Bass, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, they could play. And they had a group called Insight. And Insight was based on the name of a tune that Bill Fitch had written, because with Bill Fitch, what I didn't mention before, when he was 19, he joined Cal Jada. And he did some recording with Cal Jada. All of the Great Coon Girls, they know about Bill Fitch.
Mm.
They know about Bill Fitch. So that their name was it was Insight after Bill Fitch's, and then they changed it to something else, and then the Curtis brothers. Right.
Okay. We're gonna play some music from some of the guys that are in your band. But let me just say, once again, this performance is part of the Ellington Jazz Series. It's Friday evening, 7:30 p.m. at the Morse Recital Hall on the Yale campus. And the name of your band is Elevation. Rodney Jones on guitar, TK Blue saxophones and reeds, Nat Reeves on the bass, and Zakai Curtis on piano. Jesse Hameen the second on the drums. And we got a tune that you wrote called Elevation that's on your last recording, Sign of the Times. And here it is, Elevation, Jesse Hameen the second. And going down in the background, that's Jesse Hameen II, our special guest here in the studio on Jazz Haven. And the tune we heard was Elevation, which is the name of his band that'll be performing on Friday night. And Jesse, you wanted to mention who else is on this recording?
Yes. So again, that was Charles Erlin, the great mighty birder, who's on organ.
The Hammond B3.
Hammond B3 organ, the mighty burner. And the great Benny Powell, trombonist, he was on over 100 recordings with Count Basie,
Okay.
and he's on there. So it was him, Rodney Jones, T.K. Blue, and myself, and we did it. That was recorded at George Benson's studio. We had really big fun that day.
Where is that located?
That was in New Jersey,
Oh,
in the Teaneck area.
Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yeah. And Charles Erlin, I met Charles Erlin here in New Haven because I was working at the Golden Gate, and Charles came into the Monterey. So they told me about Charles, told Charlie about me. So that next, when we got off, we started talking. So we said, let's meet in the morning. So Mr. Greene, Rufus Greene, used to allow all the musicians in the daytime. We would come in there and we would jam all through the week. So Charlie and I went in there and we hit. Soon we hit, we said, oh man, that was like, it was a match. So I met Charlie right here in New Haven. That's one of the beautiful things about New Haven.
Mm.
And we went on to record, and we became great friends. And that's Grover Washington Jr. That's how he really got his first big start, was with the album with Charles Erlin that we did that was live at the Key Club called with Killer Joe on there. So there's so much history here. But I just want to make mention of that.
Okay. I appreciate it. One of the things I did want to mention is that tickets are still available for the Ellington Jazz Series featuring none other than Jesse Hameen II here and his band Elevation this Friday, 7:30 p.m. at the Morse Recital Hall. And for tickets, you can go to music.yale.edu or you can call 203-432-4158. The Jazz Haven Jazz Calendar is a quick rundown of some of the jazz in the area this week. It's Wednesday, and each and every Wednesday you can join drummer Gil Hawkins and his jazz collective at the Owl Shop, 268 College Street, downtown New Haven. Performances from 9 until midnight, and there's no music cover. NMCC. On Friday, join New Haven's master drummer Jesse Hameen II and Elevation at Yale University's Morse Recital Hall, 470 College Street on the Yale campus, beginning at 7:30 p.m. General admission tickets start at $23 and at $10 for students. Go to music.yale.edu or call 203-432-4158. And for that unique audio experience, join jazz historian Frank Cochran on Fridays for a happy hour jazz at the Institute Library on the 3rd floor at 847 Chapel Street, downtown New Haven. From 5:30 to 7 p.m., come and listen to rare and classic jazz recordings from the Institute's extensive vinyl collection. Each week he features a different artist or genre. It's free and BYOB. Donations are accepted. Over at the Palace Theater Poli Club, 100 East Main Street, Waterbury, it's drummer Philippe Lem and his trio. 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Admission is $32. For tickets, you can call 203-346-2000. And this weekend up at the Side Door Jazz Club, Connecticut's premier jazz spot at the Old Lime Inn, 85 Lime Street, Old Lime. On Friday, it's Michael Weiss and his quartet featuring Eric Alexander. General admission is $45 and $25 for students. On Saturday, it's well-known drummer Joe Chambers and his trio. General admission for that performance is $50 and $30 for students. Go to thesidedoorjazz.com or call 860-434-0886. And on Saturday, February 4th, it's that historic jazz jam at Cafe 9, 250 State Street, downtown New Haven, 4 to 7 p.m. All musicians are welcome to sit in after the first set. No music covered, MMCC. Then on Sunday, February 5th, there's a jazz brunch at the Lobster Shack, 3 Cozy Beach Avenue, East Haven, and it goes from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. This Sunday's featured artists are bassist Phil Bowler and guitarist Joe Carter. For reservations and info, call 483-203-483-8414. And there's that long-standing jazz brunch on Sundays at Quattro's Italian Restaurant and Bar, 14 Water Street, Guilford, featuring Jeff Fuller and his well-known trio with Darren Litzy on piano and Ben Bellello on the drums. From noon to 3 p.m., no music cover, NMCC. Then on Monday, February 6th, once again, it's Pat Todd's Tuxedo Junction. That's that swinging 17-piece big band at the Guilford VFW Hall, 104 Mill Road, Guilford, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. NMCC. Tuesday, February 7th, join vocalist Kevin St. James and his quintet at Christopher Martin's, 860 State Street, New Haven. Music is from 8 to 11 p.m. NMCC. That concludes the jazz calendar, so go to jazzhaven.org for the complete calendar and updates. And you should check out some live jazz this week. It's America's only original art form. So Jesse, you performed with Gloria Lynn. You recorded with her, and I guess you've done some other things with her as well.
Yeah, I recorded with her. As a matter of fact, Rodney Jones was on that recording. Yes, Rodney and I, we recorded and performed a lot of people together. We Ruth Brown, we worked with Ruth Brown. I worked with her last 12 years. Rodney worked with her longer than that. And we did a lot of performances with Ruth Brown. Ruth Brown was a master. Gloria Lynn was a master. And I look around, I said, wow, I was very fortunate, extremely fortunate during my career. I was just a little guy, just wanted to make a living doing what I love.
And you even, I guess, played at the Apollo Theater with Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions.
Oh yes, and I worked with other groups too, and it was nice to sub with the big band there at the Apollo. But the very last time that Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions worked at the Apollo, yes, I was the drummer with them. Mm-hmm. That was great. Mm-hmm. Curtis was a real good chess player. So him and I, on a lot of the breaks, we would be in the dressing room playing chess.
Oh. Yeah, he was. He met a tragic death. I think something fell on him,
Yes,
lighting or
yeah,
something. Yeah, that's a serious loss because he was quite a vocalist.
Oh
Quite a
yeah,
vocalist.
not just a vocalist, but human being, big contributions, a great writer. I mean, his writing, you know, he made a mark.
Yeah,
He made a mark, you know,
He-
with
he-
production. Oh yes, yeah, yeah.
and he always had music with a message.
music with a message. That's what I'm
Music
talking about.
with a
his writing.
message.
And that's what's happening with me. All of my music has a message in it. Even the song Elevation. It's I don't know if I can remember all the words right now, but it's saying that we want to sing and shout, what elevation is all about. We just don't entertain, don't play games. So when we perform our songs, we are demonstrating our love for you. We go throughout the world with a positive message to elevate the minds of all the people, to help to bring their minds with more inspiration, to keep them strong, to conquer wrong throughout the world. So we express to you what elevation intends to do. We can't do it alone. We need you. So let's unite our minds. It's really about the time. Let's go. So that's what elevation. That's
All
what
right.
it's talking about.
Now, you wrote those lyrics as well?
Yes.
As well as the music.
When I originally recorded, it was done with the lyrics.
Who
That was.
did somebody sing?
It was me and Roland Prince.
Oh, is that available anywhere?
I can get you a copy of that.
Oh, okay. all right. Multi-talented. See, we're learning something. I certainly never knew that. He sings too.
Oh, I'm not ready to sing. What happened? I wanted Leon Thomas to sing on that one, but Leon Thomas couldn't do it. So we was at rehearsal. So the other musicians, leave my wife and my children. I'm saying, wow, I wanted Leon to do this. So Leon wasn't able to do it. I worked with Leon Thomas too for like 21 years. We were tight, you know. So anyway.
Pharaoh Sanders as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the gigs, Pharaoh was on them. Now, Nat Reeves, for the last part of Pharaoh's life, he worked with Pharaoh. So with Leon, Pharaoh did some of the gigs. Some of the gigs, but most of Leon's gigs, I was Leon's first call, you know, for about, you know, since I think it started in I started with Leon about 1970, I think it was, somewhere around there. 70, 71, and then I was working with him for a long time. I had a lot of people I worked with. I was their first call. I was very fortunate that through my whole career, I never got fired off any job. All the bands that I was with, I left or whatever my own. I was really, really blessed, and was never unemployed. Unemployment is a stranger to me. I never experienced that.
That's a good thing. From the age of how old? 10?
5.
5 to.
Because I was 5 years old, I used to go to the store for neighbors, you know, and they would get things that I could deal with, and they put the note in there, and you go to the store, because the store was right across the street on Aspen Street. It was Molly's Extra Art store, and then right down the corner was another store called Carmenucci, right at Gregory and Aspen Street. So I don't know what it is to be unemployed.
How old are you now?
Right now, I'm a youngster. I'll be 82 March 17th.
Okay, wow.
And you know something?
Octogenarian.
you know, this is everything works out good, because that's a timer.
tell them to call back. Oh, that's the meter?
No, that wasn't the meter. That's the other timer to remind me about the meter.
Oh, okay.
We up here in the studio, and I have to renew it when it comes time. But anyway, I lost the point I was saying.
About unemployment.
Oh yeah.
Working for almost 80 years.
Yeah. So anyway, I was talking to someone a couple of days ago drummer friend of mine. So he said, Alvin Carter Jr. up in Hartford. So his father plays djembe drums. So I'm a little older than his father. His father was born in 1941 also, but his father was born like September, October, something like that. So I'm about 6 months older than his father. So his father's not really a jazz drummer. He plays djembe. So he says, wait a minute, you know something? He said, you're older than my father. He said, but right now, I don't think I know any drummers that's older than you in Connecticut. I said, no, it has to be some. No way in the world, there has to be some. He said, let's think. So he couldn't think of any. I couldn't think of any. So I've been calling around, and so is he, to some of the other musicians, say, are there any other active jazz drummers in Connecticut right now older than 81, 82? And so far, we haven't found anybody. I said, no, this can't be, man. Don't tell me I'm the elder statesman. No, man, that time really flew. That's the case.
Yeah.
Boy.
Well, I'll bet on one thing, that you probably have the longest career than any drummer in Connecticut, and maybe anywhere else. If you started performing at the age of what, 5, 6?
We started doing actual performance at the age of 10 professionally. We got paid at age of 10.
Wow.
There's a lot of other people that have done that. That's around the country. That's a little older than me. That started when they were young. But talking about right here in Connecticut. But I'm going to go on the search though and find out. And if anybody in the listening audience knows anybody that's an active jazz drummer, then contact Jazz Haven and through this show.
Okay.
I'm curious to know.
Let me ask you about Christian Sands.
Christian Sands, that's
one of your mentees.
That is the ultimate one of the ultimate child prodigies. When I first heard Christian, someone told me about him. I was at neighborhood music school, so at the recital hall. So I was talking to somebody outside. I said, "Look, I have to go inside. There's a young boy I have to hear." So after this person performing there, it was like a session we have back then. We have the faculty used to perform on Sunday afternoon. Then after the faculty performs the first set, just like a lot of places, then it was open for jam sessions. A lot of the students got a chance to play with the faculty and with each other. So I said, well, after this person, somebody get ready to play now, I heard a couple of chords. So I thought it was an adult. So I said, I'm going inside. I said, whoever this is, this sounded great. So someone said, that's Christian. I said, Christian? So I went in there and I said, oh, man. I said, wow, I'm Christian. It sounded so great. So I told his parents about the group that we were in, the Cuban Nights. I said, I wish someone had recorded us when we was that young. So I said, I think you should record Christian right now, even though he's still developing. So his parents said, that's a good idea. So they were doing a search, and we trying to help them find some young musicians that could enhance what he's doing and hang with him, continuity-wise. Mm-hmm. And there was some good high schoolers. Christian was 12 years old. But none of them could hang on his level. So I said, look, no problem. Case closed, and the problem is solved. How's it solved? I said, I'll get Jeff Fuller and myself, we'll do it with him.
And here it is.
No, that's not it.
So I really hate to talk over music, but we are sort of getting short on time. And I just want to mention, that's Christian Sands, Jesse Hameen II, and Jeff Fuller Christian Sands was 12 years old at the time. I don't know how old you guys were.
Christian's 30 now, 31.
Yeah, but how old were you at that time?
Well, you got it.
2002.
2002. How many years ago was that?
21 years ago.
21 years ago.
Yeah.
I was 60.
Okay.
60 going on 62.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this album is great, man.
Let's hear a little bit of it and play it.
All right.
Let's go to Christian CD.
I am. I'm going to play Give Your Life to God.
Yeah.
Yep. And we got just enough time to play it right now.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna sort of fade down this tune. I would like to thank you all for listening to Jazz Haven, broadcasting from studios in downtown New Haven, Connecticut, streaming at newhavenindependent.org and the jazz station WETF 105.7 FM, streaming on the web at jazzradiowetf.org. Your host has been Stan the Man, and we hope you've enjoyed the music. We've had a great time playing it. And we look forward to the next time when we'll see you on the radio. Taking us home, and we also want to thank Jesse Harmeen II for coming and this is a great way to begin Black History Month. As I said at the beginning, there's a whole lot more I'm sure we could talk about. I got a lot. This is great. We have to do it again.
Yeah, that's the answer to that one.
We needed more time.
Yeah, that's the answer to that one.
But I hope you can, so people can see the development of Christian, how Christian performed. We recorded one of my tunes, "Give It Life to God."
Okay, and that's
on the same album that I. This is new, but it's a new rendition of the one that I did in 1984.
Okay, and this recording is called "Rising."
Yeah, the album is "Rising."
And who's on there?
Oh, I forgot who all was on there.
Okay, it's you and Christian Sands.
Mike Cassetta's on bass.
All right. Well, it's your composition, and unfortunately, we can't go too much further. But
that's right.
We're going to play that to close out. This is it. Jesse Harmeen's "Give Your Life to God."
a child with a rising fever, cough, and chills enough to make your heart skip a beat? Children are 19% of reported COVID cases, with higher rates in Hispanic and Black children. Vaccinated 6 months to 5-year-olds are 80% less likely to get COVID, which means 80% healthier New